Good morning, everybody. This is AKA Heather Joy, and you guys have boarded the lifeboat. See who we've got so far. Charlie, Balake, Rick, and I know that wait, Seventh is here. Awesome. Jason's here. All right. Let's get started, guys. You know the drill. I'm going to run quickly through the rules that we have here. Oh, and you want to come too? Oh, hang on. Go here. Go here. Go. Oh, okay. I guess she'll jump in my lap when I'm not looking. And yeah. Anyway, okay. You're in the lifeboat. Please, when you are leaving comments or you're in the live chat, please don't discuss politics. We'll leave that to Tommy. He knows when it's appropriate, but it's just a little triggering for people, especially right now. Second rule, no overbearing religion, guys. This isn't a religious channel. It's fine to say things like, I'm going to pray for you, or I just couldn't have found my sobriety without God. That's fine, but please don't shove your beliefs down anybody else's throat. And the third, I forgot number 3. There is, please refrain from cursing in the live chat in the comment section. You know, as Tommy always says, if you can't control your mouth, then you can't control your life. And I agree. I did slip up the other day. I felt really stupid about that. I usually don't do that. I mean, even in real life, I don't do that. But anyway, please, no trolls. This is a place, where we come to lift each other up. There's no place for being mean. Okay, sorry. And if you would please, if you haven't hit, there we go. If you haven't hit the like button, please exit out of the chat right now. Hit that for me and come right back in, and please share these videos out to those that you think this might help. And if you haven't subscribed, come on, please do. Anyway, let's see. Let me flip back here to the comments. Oh, Quiet Girl's here. All right. And full of hope. Good morning. Who else? Let's see, 7th. Who else? Did I miss anybody? Anyway, and Rick. Did I say Rick? I don't know. I am very sleep deprived, you guys. I've had very little sleep the last couple of days. I've had lots of fibromyalgia pain, and it's not been fun. So I'm a little sleepy, and I apologize, guys. Oh, hey, Annette and Allison. Good morning, guys. Glad you are here. Oh, now you want to come up? Yeah. Well, come here. Come on. Hurry. Come here. There you go. Oh, look at this sweet baby. Sweet little girl. This one's Nyx. She's a sweetie. Anyway, oh, you want to go up there? Okay, there you go. Just leave my water alone. She's a little ninja. It's really cute. Anyway, not really. Okay. Not really here? You're not really here. Okay. Well, if you're here in spirit, that's fine with me. Anyway, this morning, I want to talk about rebuilding relationships, when you are in recovery. What are you doing? Anyway, I was thinking about this. I was an addict to prescription narcotics, prescription pain pills for a long time, like about probably 15 years. And it wrecked my first marriage. It does. It becomes, one of the most important things. And, I'm a mother. And at that time I had 2 little girls, and of course, they're extremely important to me. And, I did my very best to be a good mom to them. But there were many times I just absolutely failed because of my addiction. And, it's just, my girls, learned that they had a mother that was pretty out of it most of the time. And it just wrecked my first marriage. There were so many times, that I tried to hide it. I was very secretive, but when I'd get caught, when my first husband would catch me using, we'd have a big fight, and I would promise I'd talk till I was blue in the face and convince him that I was going to change, that I was going to quit. And, how many times do we do that? We make promises over and over and over that we don't keep, and I know a lot of people when they're in addiction, whether you're using or drinking, a lot of times, you either isolate yourself, which is what I did. I hid it from everybody. I had no friends um, that I ever did this with, because I was raised in a very religious community. I've always been in this state. I have so many people around me that have the same faith. Those are my friends. This was something I was very ashamed of, because in my faith, it's a big deal. You don't drink, you don't abuse drugs. Our bodies we're supposed to take care of our bodies, because we believe that they're gifts from God. And so for me, it was something I was extremely ashamed of, and I did not want anybody to know. So I didn't have friends that I used with. I didn't have friends, like I know that sometimes people will, when they first they'll isolate, and then they'll kind of gravitate to friends that do the same thing, that they'll use together, or they'll go drinking together. And it's not a good thing. The people that you really love, and people that love you, the ones that really care about you, they're the ones you're making promises to and breaking promises. And this really pushes them away. You can only take so much. It destroys trust. It destroys relationships. And that's what it did to my first marriage. And I don't blame him one bit. My first husband had it. After, we were married 13 years, and he'd had enough. And I was thinking too, it's not just the relationships, that we destroy. Your finances, just every part of your life, addiction's going to affect it. And we really do we really destroy things. And I've always used the phrase, I just left a wake of destruction behind me everywhere I went. And I was talking to a friend that she was my roommate when I was in rehab. She was there for a little while. I was there for a long time. I had a couple of roommates, but she was my first one. And sorry, I lost my train of thought there for a second. I'm sorry, guys. I'm really tired. We were talking about relationships, and we both have been able to maintain our sobriety for a long time. For me, it's been 15 years, and for her, I think it's been 14. But we were talking about what it was like to rebuild our relationships with our family and our friends, and we were just talking about that. And I love it. She used the term. She says the infrastructure of all of her relationships, she dropped a nuclear bomb on them, is how she described it. And I just thought that was perfect, because it ruins the infrastructure. It does, of your relationships. And it creates quite a visual in my mind. And I just see this very large, tall, multi-story building just crumbling. But but that's what happens. We destroy our relationships because we cannot be trusted. And it's not just that, we can't even trust ourselves. When we get so into it, and it destroyed my first marriage. And there was a time where I couldn't spend. I was used to having my children with me every day. And, when I was in and out of hospitals and all kinds of things. And so I missed a lot of time with my children, and I ended up getting remarried after that. And we had to move away from where I had been. And we just, because I was still at that point, having problems with addiction, my girls spent most of their time with their dad. And that was a very difficult thing to deal with, where I only got to see them, every other weekend during school, and then we'd have, how divorced couples have to juggle the kids, but I missed a lot of time with them. And that was, consequences, no matter what you do, if it's good or bad, you're going to get a consequence. And, that was a tough one for me. And, it was my girls, did all they had ever known was a mom who was an addict, once they were old enough to pay attention. I mean, that's really all they knew. And it was interesting. My oldest daughter, once she graduated from high school, she actually was a missionary in Japan for about 18 months. And when she came home, it was just our we'd had so much time apart, and our relationship was really, I don't know what the word is. We were just very careful, So when I actually went to recovery, I was there for 6 months, and after that, it took a long time. There were so many things I still had to work out, but as my daughters both became adults, I was going through changes and really, overcoming a lot of the obstacles, a lot of the issues that I had, and had finally gotten sober, and I was a very, very different person. And if any of you guys have seen the videos I've done with my daughters, my oldest, it threw her, because all she had known was a mother who was a lot of the time very out of it. And she was used to that. And so, and here she's growing up, she's going to college and getting married, and, there's so much time apart. So when we would spend time, it bugged her, because I was not the same person. And she felt like, almost maybe like an imposter had come for a while. It took her a while to realize this is what my mother is really like. She'd never known that before. And it took time for us to get to know each other. It's been a wonderful thing. My youngest, I'm very close with both of them, but my youngest didn't really struggle as much with that. But my older daughter really did. But it took time to rebuild those things. And, as far as my second husband, for a long time, he, I was very upfront when we met, and we got, before we got married, I'd let him know my whole history, my mental health history, my addiction history. I told him everything, so he knew. And, we've always been, I've known him since 4th grade, and he was actually my boyfriend in 6th grade. We've got history. We're the same age. We graduated, same class, same year. I don't think he knew what he was getting into, and I don't think I did either. And he tried so hard to help me, and he was very, very patient with me. But there became a time where it just, it destroys trust. It destroys that infrastructure. It destroys the closeness and the intimacy and the love. It just ruins that. And bless his heart, I just love this man. He was very patient with me, but I was in and out of psych wards, and then I was in rehab for 6 months. A lot of time spent apart, and we grew apart. And so when I got out of rehab, we didn't know if we were going to stay together. I wanted to. He really didn't know. I mean, I had to give him time. And I just learned, rebuilding relationships takes a great deal of patience on both sides. And, things are wonderful now, and I'm so grateful for him, and he stuck with me, and good man there. I'll hold on to him forever. Anyway, it's like I was saying, addiction, it affects every single part of your life. There's no way it can't. And so, you end up pushing away. You don't mean to, but you end up pushing people away, because there's so many broken promises. And I know when my all of my siblings didn't, when I really started to struggle with my mental health, they all kind of backed off. They didn't know what to do. They didn't know how. My brother he says, I don't even know how to talk to her. I don't know what they were so uncomfortable. And that really took time too. But and one of my siblings, to this day, we are not close, and I don't think she'll ever forgive me. But consequences, again, there's consequences to our choices. And yeah, anyway, when you are, when you're at rock bottom, and you've destroyed, you burned all your bridges. You look at your life, you look at yourself, you look at your situation, and you just don't think things will ever get better. And you look at your relationships, and they're seemingly, let me say seemingly, destroyed. That's what it looks like when you hit rock bottom, and you finally make that decision. I'm not going to live this way any longer. It seems, trying to rebuild relationships seems like an impossible, insurmountable task. It really does. But seemingly, okay, because it can happen, and it does happen, you guys. It does. But we have to clean up the wreckage, and we have to rebuild that infrastructure. But it can, and it does happen. There's a couple of things you need to remember. The first one is patience. This is going to take time. It's going to take patience on both sides. You need to remember you need some humility. I'll explain why. You need some serious honesty. And you need to also remember that sometimes people are not going to accept the amends that you try to make. And that's just, that happens sometimes. But rebuilding our relationships is so important. What do we always say here? The opposite of addiction is connection. We have some wonderful connections with everybody here on the boat, and this is such a good thing. But we need it in other aspects of our lives too. If we have children, or our parents, our siblings, our significant others, our friends, we need these people. You've got to find ways to occupy yourself when you give up your addiction. When you're in your addiction, that's what your world revolves around. That's the only thing you are truly focused on, is when can I get my next fix? Am I going to get my next fix? That's your world. And, stopping that, changing those habits is going to be a big change. And it's so important to have people around you. You need that support. So, it is really important to try. It really is. Addiction really is a disease of isolation. To drink or to use, we isolate. Sometimes, we find friends that we use with, or that we drink with, as I've already said. But the thing with those types of relationships is, once the addiction is removed, there really isn't anything there. There's not a true bond. There's not true friendship. You really don't know one another, because you don't even know yourself at that point. So that, they are very unhealthy relationships. They're rather toxic. So it's either, we're either isolating, or we have these types of toxic relationships. It's got to change. And I was just thinking, it is difficult, and you feel very discouraged at the beginning, because there's no more trust, and you don't even trust yourself. And really that can push everyone away. It can wear anybody out. There's like I said, if you do have friendships at that point, they usually are pretty empty. And but I want you to, again, I just want to say, hope is not lost. It really isn't. But you need to remember something. You probably said sorry 1,000 times already. And I remember my mother would throw this at me, and I would be when I would say, I am so sorry, it would be extremely heartfelt. And, but she got so tired of hearing that, she said, that's all you ever say. And she said, sorry isn't sorry until there's action behind it. And that used to burn every time she'd say that. But, it's kind of true. And, saying sorry is just not enough. If we want to rebuild these relationships, we have got to make amends. And the best thing the place to start to make amends is to look at yourself. Look at each relationship and look at what you did, because this is not, I'm trying to say, I'm sorry, guys. I'm struggling again. I'm just tired. But we do have to make amends. We need to clean up our side of the street. And we need to. Oh, I remember what I was saying. You really need to look at yourself and your situation, and you need to realize and accept. I have been a dirtbag here. I've done this, I've hurt them. I broke my promises. I broke hearts. You need to come to grips with the things you've done, and you need to admit them to yourself and the people that you are trying to rebuild these relationships with. You've got to, hang on, I really need a drink. Anyway, we I forgot what I was saying, but we have to clean up our side of the street. And like I said, that starts by realizing your fault in it. But then you have got to go to this person, whomever it is that you want to rebuild the relationship with. You've got to go to them and say, hey, I really messed up there. I did this. You need to admit what you've done, and then it really helps for them to hear it. Just like I said, just saying I am so sorry, you need to tell them, look, I realize I was an idiot, and you need to express that you realize, yes, and I've done these things. This takes a lot of humility. You really do. It's important that when you say, I messed up, that you don't make excuses, because I was good at that one for a long time. I said, look, I'm sorry. I lied to you. I stole this. I go through the list of things that I've done, and I'd say, but it was because of my past, because I'm struggling with this and this, I would make excuses. Not no excuses. You just need to admit, look, I did this. It takes some humility, and it takes some honesty. And honesty, that's a difficult thing for addicts. We say a lot of things and we break those promises, and people are used to that. And I know everybody around me thought, oh, here she goes again. She's going to try. She says she's going to try, and she's going to do this. She's going to get sober, and then she's going to fall off the wagon again. Everybody just was really expecting that at that point. And I just realized, I have to admit my mistakes. No excuses. I can't lie about anything. That's what they're used to. And you've got to tell them this, but then you've got to back up what you are saying with action. You've got to really follow through. And I don't mean with just sobriety. I mean with everything. If you tell somebody that you are going to do something, you've got to follow up, and you've got to do it. You absolutely have to do that. You cannot lie anymore. You can't make excuses. If you say you're going to do something, you've got to do it. You've got to show people, I really am changing. They have got to see that. And this is where it takes a lot of patience. This is going to take time. You have to prove to everybody that you are changing, and that this is going to be a permanent thing. This takes time. It's not easy. Oh, hey, good morning, Tommy. You get on the plane as we speak. I hope you have a safe flight, and I'm sure we'll hear from you later. Hey, we've got Jennifer, Cheryl, John Doe is here. Who else? If I miss Barela, you are here. Nice. Good morning. Oh, and Seagull Rock Squat, you're here. I love this. If I missed anybody, I apologize. Oh, Scoopy's here. Yeah, if I missed you, I am sorry. I'm trying to remember to pay attention to the chat, guys. I really am trying. And Jennifer Rice. Oh, yes. There you are. Okay. Let's see, where was I? Anyway, okay, yes. You've got to rebuild trust. And again, that's going to take you being very humble and very honest. And you've got to build some integrity. Integrity is when you follow through with what you say, and it's also doing the right thing when nobody's looking. But you absolutely have got to find your integrity, and you've got to build that up. It takes time, but you've got to keep your promises. And like I have said this before, but some people are not going to accept it. And that's their choice. And I believe just sometimes I know, well, at least in my situation, the only person I have not been able to, fully make amends to, and, to be able to rebuild my relationship is just one of my sisters. But I realize why. And I think sometimes you need to remember that sometimes they just can't, because they are struggling with their own issues, and they can't do it right at that time. And hopefully later, maybe I'll be able to rebuild things with her. But right now, just is the thing she's struggling with. She can't deal with anymore. She doesn't want to, and I don't blame her. But sometimes if people, you try to rebuild, and they say no, that it might reflect their own struggles, their own issues, and that's fine. It's just a fact that you have to live with. We reap what we sow. We really do. Something else I thought it might be important to mention is it's really important, during when you're getting sober, you really need to work on healing yourself. There's almost always underlying trauma, or an underlying reason for your addiction. You've got to heal that. You've got to take care of those things, or you're going to just end up in the same. You're going to jump out of this boat into another one. But you really do need to heal yourself. You got to work on yourself, and you need to find your confidence. And again, this is hard work. It takes time. So, patience, honesty, humility, you need these things. I think it's really important too that you find your passions. You need to get back into your life. You need to create your life. Sometimes it takes just, trying to figure out who you even are. This all is a process, but these are all important things to do, because when you are more whole, when you have healed, you are better able to be in a relationship. And how do I articulate this better? When it just shows when you discover who you are, when you find your true passions, the things that you love to do, when you start to find success in the things you do, it does build your confidence. It builds your vibration. People are going to notice that. That's only going to add to relationships and rebuilding. If they see this incredible change in you, they're going to be able to start trusting that you are serious about making this huge change. They're going to see it, they're going to notice it, and it just backs up even more so what you have said. It'll show. But you guys, I know it is a hard thing. It's a difficult thing. Ooh, I remember very well just being very, very discouraged and thinking, how am I ever, going to fix this? How are people ever going to trust me again? It's a very low time. It's a very difficult thing. And it's taken, I've been sober 15 years and I'm still trying, I'm close with one of my siblings, and I'm pretty okay with my mother now. But it's all just a process, but everything is slowly getting better. Over this 15 years, things have definitely improved, and it is worth it. It really is. I am very blessed with the family that I have, the daughters that I have, my cousins, my siblings. I grew up with all of my cousins around me all the time, and we are all very close. And it's been a wonderful thing to be able to have them in my life again. And what's really nice too is every time we meet up with my cousins, they always say to me, every time they see me, they comment on, you're still doing it. You glow now, and you're happy, and you're doing this and this and this. And, but it's always nice to hear that, that they, I always get a little pat on the back from them. That helps, but I'm very fortunate. The family that I have, they have been very, very understanding and very forgiving. And I am very grateful for that. I know that this isn't the case for a great many people, and so I am very grateful. I realize how blessed I really am in that aspect. Let's see. That's about all I really have prepared. So I want to look at what you guys are saying in the comments. Annette here says, I have stopped blaming anyone and anything, and have started taking responsibility for me and not doing things that make me have to apologize and make amends. I love that. It's exactly what it takes. Yeah, you don't blame anybody. Yeah, you're not making the excuses. You're not blaming anybody. You're being responsible for you. And yeah, it feels good, doesn't it? It feels good. I love that. It's Full of Hope says, I am so blessed that the generational curse of alcohol ended. Yes, you did it. You did it. My daughter neither drinks, smokes, or doesn't even take pain meds. That's amazing. You did it. You ended it. And that is a beautiful thing. And, props to you, woman. That is awesome. You sweet Irish soul. That is awesome. Let's see here. What else have we got? Yeah, and then again, when the inside gets happy, it starts to show on the outside. It really does, doesn't it? It really does. In the church where I went for, I just moved, so I'm in a completely different ward is how we structure our churches. So I'm in a completely different ward now, but the ward that I was in, I was there for almost 18 years. And people that were there, when I moved in and are still there have made comments and said, you were, I for just years and years, I would lead the music, for the congregation. And people would comment, on my appearance when I would be up there leading the music, the first maybe 5, 6, 7 years, versus the way that I was, up until I just moved. And yeah, it really does. It shows. when you are happy, it really shows. It says your countenance is completely different and you look like you're enjoying it. And, it really does. It shows. Let's see. Full of hope. We need to fix that. We need to somehow do. She says, Christmas is just another day for me, but I live alone. We need to do a big Zoom meeting on Christmas then. All of us pop in and try to celebrate with Full of Hope. Let's do something like that, let's set something up like that on Christmas. That would be amazing. Anybody, what? I'm going to do that. You guys, if we get close to Christmas and I haven't said anything, please remind me. I will set up a Zoom meeting. I will send the links out to whomever wants to come in. We can have a big online Christmas party, and then Full of Hope won't be by herself for a little while. I hope that sounds okay. I want to do that. Varela, confidence, what's that? You can find it. You can find it. You really can. It takes some time. It's taken me, I've been sober for 15 years, and it's only around 2016 that I finally started to accept myself and find some confidence. It takes time, but you'll get there. Just hang in there. You can get there. Seriously. Let's see. Again, Annette, yeah, you're full of awesome comments this morning. You said most folks won't respond the way we expect them to, and we can't blame them. Exactly. Yep. Exactly. Let's see. Oh, hey, JT, good morning. I am glad you are here. Let's see. Seagull Rock Squad. If you show lack of willpower over and over, you'll be alone. Yeah. Yeah, you can't maintain relationships if there's no trust. It just does not work. Let's see what else here. I'm curious, Jennifer. Brenda Bayleaf. I'm curious about that. I've read something about that. Is it supposed to? Does it really help? Does it calm you? I've never tried it. Chamomile tea, yeah, that's a good one for, for anxiety, and also chamomile is really good for. Oh, I better not go in that direction. I could go off. I've been trained in some herbal medicine somewhat, and I could really go off. But never mind. I'm just curious about the bay leaf, though. I'm curious if that really helps. I'll have to try that. I have a bunch of them. Let's see. Seagull Rock Squad. Do your best not to relapse. That angers people. Yeah, it sure did with especially I saw it very, a very strong reaction of anger with my mother and my husband's, both of them. Yeah, it does. Let's see. Annette, you've got a new grandbaby. Oh, congratulations. Aren't they the best? Grandkids, you guys, those of you who don't have grandkids yet, best thing in the world, isn't it? Oh, they're so amazing. So fun. Aw. So very happy today. My kids know my story and understand I didn't have the pocket full of tools I have now. That is awesome, Annette. Good deal. I'm very happy for you. Congratulations. Let's see. You're not. Oh, I am sorry. In a toxic relationship. That's difficult. I am sorry. That's probably something you need to do some serious soul searching about. Let's see. Oh, let's see. You said, I'm with a person that feels making amends never means doing it from the get. Oh, that's difficult. I am sorry. Full of hope. Oh boy, have I been humbled, but I'm better for it. Amen. I agree. I agree. You know, one way that you can look at your past and look at the things that you have done, you know, the mistakes you have made, if you can look at it and learn from it, it's a lot easier to begin to accept yourself. If you can, you know, if you can, like I always say, you take your stumbling blocks, turn them into stepping stones. Let's see. Oh, seventh, I'm sorry. Got a headache. I am sorry. I hope it goes away very soon. I hope it's not a migraine. Those aren't fun. Let's see. Scoopy says, people will always say, but she's stolen from you. She's physically hurt you before. And both said, and she wasn't herself. She was in a bad place. Not, I guess I would need more context on that. Quiet Girl says, I've been trying to rebuild my relationship with my son. And the harder I try to rebuild the relationship, the worse it actually becomes. Oh, I feel like the unwanted person in his life all of the time. I know you're Quiet Girl. I know you're not alone in feeling that. Huh, guys? I know she's not alone in feeling that. You know, like I was saying, a lot of times, you know, the more you try, sometimes, you know, the other person is struggling with issues as well. You just have to, you know, always, you know, keep trying and never give up on it. You know, it sometimes it just takes a lot of time. I'm very sorry. Oh, John Doe, you watch Mr. Ballin? I'm gonna mind blowing, huh? I better go look. I haven't listened to him in a while. I have to. I'm glad you said something. I have to find out what it is. Scooby says, I'm lucky my brother and my boyfriend never lost trust in me. Wow. Yeah, hang on to those two then. That's amazing. That's awesome. And you also said trust is important. It is. It is. Without trust, there's just really no way to maintain a relationship. I think trust is a big part of that infrastructure that I was referring to in a relationship. Maybe that's the frames and the beams. Let's see. Full Hope says, and that I was sober through pregnancy and upbringing, very close. But my husband leaving, she felt she wanted to go with him. Oh, I'm sure you're referring to your daughter here. We stay in touch, but it's sporadic. And yes, there's great love. Good. Let's see. Yes, hit that like button, guys. And that it says, hope it was sometimes hard for me, considering I had an amazing relationship before my addiction took over me. Yeah. It does. It affects every aspect of our lives, you know, whether it's your significant other or your child or your boss or, you know, or a close friend. It affects every aspect, you know, and things like finances and your job and your well-being. It really gets everything. um I was just looking at this comment Rick made. That's Rough Scooby and AKA, no kid should have to go through it. I had to take my 3-year-old and raise her. The wife would disappear, so we disappeared. So I'm assuming that you were talking about how we didn't have our children around us the way that I hope that's what you're referring to. But yeah, I did not get to have my children with me all the time anymore. And that was very difficult because I love my children dearly and I love being a mother. I mother everybody anymore. Let's see. Missionary movie. What is that one? The Inn. What is that? The Inn of the Sixth Happiness. I've never heard that about that one. I'll have to check that out. Again, thank you. Let's see. Annette again says, I have a careful relationship with one of my daughters. She's still kind of eggshellish, but the love is there, and I'm grateful for that. Yes, that's good. You know, it will get better over time. I'm quite sure of it. But I understand that eggshell period. I remember when my oldest daughter first came home from her mission, and the first time we got together, it felt very much that way. Well, it did for a while, actually, but yeah, I completely understand what you're saying there. Scooby said, the second time being taken from her eldest told her she hated her, and it made her look at herself in the mirror and cry with hatred of who she had become. Oh, that's, it affects addiction, you know, just and relationships. It just really messes things up. I'm so glad that all of you guys are here, you know, and we're all trying to support one another with sobriety and, you know, and healing. And, you know, that's when you've got a place like this where you can come and you can share and you can receive help, you know, it makes you a little stronger. It makes you a little more able to put energy and an emotion into the relationships around you. I believe. Let's see. What did I miss here? I don't want to miss any of the really good comments, but if I have missed one, I apologize. Okay, let me see here. Our bodies listen to us, says Cheryl. Yes, they do. Let's see. Anyway, you guys amaze me that you come here early in the morning and listen to me. I understand listening to Tommy, but I'm kind of a spaz. But thank you for coming and for being here in the chat and for supporting one another. And this is such, love the boat. You guys, I'm so sleepy. I really need to try and get some sleep. So I am going to end just a few minutes early. But thank you for being here. I hope you guys have a good day. And, you know, if you don't have that list of five people that you have, you can call at any time, so that if you ever get that urge, you start thinking about relapse, reach out and talk to someone on that list. Reach out, you know, talk this through. You know, a lot of times we get all of these emotions, you know, that and you know, the limbic system, you know, kind of further back in your brain, that, you know, where that's where your emotional center is. And when you have all of these strong feelings, these strong emotions, and they're back here in your head, you're so overwhelmed with that emotion. But if you can just move all those feelings up here, where you can, you know, this frontal cortex area, where you can think, this is where your rational adult self is. You know, when you talk those things through, you're moving those forward, and then you're thinking things through. And that happens when you talk to somebody or when you write it down in your journal. But please reach out. You know, we are here to support one another. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys. I'm so glad you are here. Thank you. And thank you for being in the chat and for being here for one another. This is awesome. Anyway, I will actually see you guys just very briefly tonight when I bring Tommy and Dr. K on, but they'll be on at 5 tonight, Pacific time. And I hope you guys have a wonderful day. You can do this. If I can do this, you can do this. You got this. Talk to you later.